Recently, I was sent this video clip by two viewers, Eni and Miss Budi. I believe they're both in Indonesia. And I noticed when I received their videos that the topic they're asking about is really kind of related. So I decided to combine them into one English mystery question, and we'll address the issue on this evening's show. So guys, if you are ready, let's get right to our English mystery of the evening, okay? So I'm going to get myself ready, and we'll get to the English mystery of the evening. Here we go. English mystery.
Hi, Teacher Paul. Can you help me out to understand this sentence structure? Actually, it's bugging me. I know and I'm using two infinitive, like I want to study. But these days I'm noticing there's also another structure that's two plus progressive form of verb, like he is dedicated to doing his work. And I just want to know, is this sentence structure correct? Can you please explain about it? And when can I use such sentences if I can use it? Thank you.
So I get confusion. To put verb ing or infinitive in order to explain actions in the past or explain a purpose. For example, my job descriptions were research and develop new formulae, or my job descriptions were researching and developing new formulae. Number 2, the most important thing of learning languages is enjoy the process or enjoying the process. Thank you for helping me.
Excellent. Thank you again, Eni and Budi, for your great question. Maybe some of you can see how these questions are related. What I'm going to do is I'm going to address Miss Eni's question first, because I think in addressing it, we'll see how it answers the second question too, okay? Before we get going though, I want to say hello to Nok. Nok is watching us, I believe, from Vietnam. Excellent. Thank you for joining us. Okay, guys. So yeah, earlier in our chat moments ago, we also have with us Maria from Peru. Wow, excellent. We've got lots of countries represented this evening. Fabulous. Luza, both, yes, indeed, I agree, Luza, both are interesting. And I think you can sense that there's some overlap, some intersection with the topic. So let's get to it. So Eni said she is comfortable with this kind of sentence, I want to study. She's comfortable with that, she's familiar with that, that one makes sense to her. But she also said that recently she's hearing this kind of structure, and it's bugging her, great expression. Bugging her means it's annoying her or frustrating her, okay? He's dedicated to doing his work. So she says that here she has two infinitives, want and to study. But here we have past tense verb, and then here we don't have an infinitive, we have 2 plus verb ing. So she's wondering what's going on here. They don't seem to follow the patterns. Well, the first thing I want to say, Eni, is that what we have here is a pretty simple structure, a fairly standard sentence. I think we're all comfortable and familiar with that. But I want to correct you on something. If we look at this sentence, we clearly have an infinitive verb here, right? To study. But actually this cannot be considered infinitive verb, and I'll tell you why. Every sentence has one main verb, and that verb's job is to express the tense, and of course the main action. So here we have simple present tense, and then we have infinitive verb here. But this could also be something like I wanted to study, or future, I will want to study, or I have wanted, present perfect. This verb is not an infinitive verb, even though it looks like the infinitive verb. And also, if the subject were she, it would say she wants. Infinitive verb doesn't change like that. In fact, infinitive verb never changes. Look what happens. I want to study. I wanted to study. I will want to study. I have wanted to study. Infinitive verb's job is not to tell us the tense. Okay? The main verb's job is to tell us the tense, to express tense. And in our example, it happens to be simple present, which looks like infinitive. It's not. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, if you look at this sentence, the infinitive verb here is doing what? Well, it's actually the object. How do I know that? Well, we have a verb here, I want. And want is a transitive verb. It needs an object. It needs something to want. You can't walk around the street saying, I want. I want. You can't walk up to someone at the bus stop and say, I want. They won't understand you. They'll say, you want what? That's a kind of verb, not grammatically, but because of its meaning, it needs an object. You have to want something. That's a transitive verb. And infinitive verb can go in that spot. So can other words like nouns. I want a pen, or I want my friend. Okay? So a lot of things can go in this position as the object. Here it happens to be the infinitive verb. That's that structure. What's happening down here? We have a subject. We also have a verb, which is the be verb. Okay? Then we have dedicated. Now, it looks like it might be a passive, is dedicated, but it's actually not. This is a participle, past participle adjective describing he. He is dedicated. Okay? Now, what do we have over here? We have to, but then we have this. Okay? And then his work. What I want to say here is that this is not the infinitive verb. To has two jobs. Actually, let me back up a second. Let's go back to infinitive verb. What does it mean, infinitive? Do you guys know that symbol from mathematics or science or physics? Do you know what that means? It means infinity. And what does infinity mean? Infinity means endless time or endless number. No end, right? No time? What does that sound like? That sounds like a verb that doesn't express time. Infinitive verb means infinity. It means it has no relationship to time. And that makes sense here because as the main verb changes time or tense, that remains the same. So the infinitive verb expresses action, but not in time. Let's remember that, okay? He is dedicated to doing his work. Here, we have a different situation. To has two jobs. To can be part of the infinitive verb, like here. It's a two-part verb, to study, okay? But to is also a preposition. And when to is used as a preposition, it has a little bit of a different meaning. It attaches to nouns. It connects nouns. That's what all prepositions do. Prepositions connect nouns. That's their job. That's a noun. It looks like a verb. It looks like verb ing, like I am standing here, you are watching. Present continuous, present progressive. Be verb plus verb ing. But here's the problem. The verb here is. That's an adjective. And this to does not belong to this. it belongs to that. This is a phrasal expression. Okay? This is the preposition to. This is not infinitive verb to. This is a preposition. Prepositions come before nouns. So, I'm going to tell you that that's a noun. It's a special kind of noun called a gerund. And this is where the confusion comes from. You know that verb plus ing can be used with present continuous, right? Or present progressive, same thing. I am standing. You are watching. And those verbs have two parts, the be verb and then the verb ing. But if there's no be verb, it's no longer a verb. No be verb here. Now it's a gerund. And a gerund acts as a noun. Okay? That makes a huge difference. He's dedicated to doing his work. I'm telling you that this is a noun phrase. And I'll prove it. You could just say, he's dedicated to his work. He's dedicated to his wife. He's dedicated to his school. You could just put a noun here and this will make sense. That little test proves that this is a noun phrase. Phrasal verbs like this, and there are others, and I'll show you one in a moment, are an expression that needs a noun. You have to be dedicated to something. As you guys said in your comment threads, nouns are things. So you have to be dedicated to something. So this is not part of the infinitive verb like here. This to is a preposition that connects the noun. Right? It connects the noun. And the gerund, verb ing, is no longer a verb. It's now a noun. If a gerund is a noun, it's a thing, it can do noun things. It can be the subject, it can be the object, right? I'm going to show you a few examples here. First of all, let's make it clear the difference between infinitives and gerunds. Let's define them. Infinitive verb consists of to, and it's not a preposition anymore, it's part of the verb, plus base form of the verb. And it can function in a sentence as a subject, object, adjective, or adverb. Think about that. That's powerful. It can do a lot of different things. Okay? I think in Annie's first example, I want to study, it's acting as the object. It's the thing I want. I want to do that action, right? And a verb like want, just the meaning of what it means to want, you know in life that you can want objects. I want a pen. I want a new remote. But you can also want to do actions. I'm tired. I want to sleep. I want to do that action. I'm bored. I want to run. I want to do that action. Humans can want objects or people, and we can also want to do things. That's why the verb want can be used with infinitive or nouns. And if it can be used with nouns, it can be used with gerunds, because gerunds are noun. So a gerund consists of a verb plus ing. So it's built from the verb plus ing. And remember, there's no be verb here. A gerund does not have a be verb. If it has a be verb, then it's present continuous. And it always functions in a sentence as a noun. Therefore, it can be the subject or the object, right? For example, I can say, doing his work, doing my work is fun. That's the subject. I can also say, I love doing my work, right? Another gerund could be something like swimming. Swimming is fun. I love swimming. It can be the subject or the object, okay? So that's the definition of an infinitive and a gerund. And there's an example of using infinitive verb as the object. And here's an example of a phrasal verb that happens to have to. I'll give you another one. I look forward to swimming. Right? Subject, right? And this is a phrasal expression. And the to is not part of the infinitive verb. It's the preposition that connects to that noun. I look forward to something. Just think about what that means. I look forward to. Metaphorically, it means we're looking forward to the future. But physically, it means you're turning your head and looking at something. Things are nouns. I look forward to you. I look forward to the show. I look forward to meeting you. Right? If we put a gerund here, it's a noun. It's the thing we look forward to. It's not an action. It's a thing. It's the name of an action. Right? For example, in the Olympics, the name of the event is swimming. That's the name of the event. It's not the action. It's the name of the sport. Okay? So far, so good? Okay, let's build on this idea. I told you that some verbs, we can want objects and we can want actions. Because of the meaning of it, in reality, language reflects our life. And in real life, we know that we can want objects. I want my rabbit. Right? I want my rabbit. My rabbit is a noun. That's an object. I want to play with my rabbit. I want to do that action of playing with my rabbit. So I'm a human. I can want objects and I can want to do actions. Not all verbs can do that. So now we have the big problem. The question is, which verbs can have an infinitive? Which verbs can have a gerund or a noun? Which verbs can have only infinitive? Which verbs can have only gerunds? And so on. That's the big question. And this is something that's kind of hard to learn. It takes time. Now I'm going to show you 4 categories. Let's start with verbs that need an infinitive. They must have infinitive. Okay, verbs that are followed by infinitives. Afford. I can't afford to buy a Ferrari. To buy. Afford to buy. I don't agree to study tonight. She appeared to be tired. Right? So these verbs followed by an infinitive. They cannot be followed by a gerund. Okay? Look at the word learn, for example. He learned to swim. They have to have the infinitive. Now, you'll see at the end it says, etc. That means the list is not finished. There's actually a lot. This is just an example. Now, I'm just going to put these samples up here to give you some idea. These are verbs that are followed by infinitives only. After the show, if you want, contact me at my email address and I can give you a document with a full list, or at least the most commonly used. Okay? Verbs plus infinitives. The next category are verbs that must... Oh, by the way, look what we have here. Want. Want to study. Okay? We don't see dedicated. We don't see the be verb, by the way. We'll talk about that shortly. So the next category, guys, is the category of verbs followed by gerunds. Okay? And these include phrasal expressions like be dedicated to, or this one, be accustomed to. You have to be accustomed to a thing. I'm accustomed to speaking on camera. I'm accustomed to teaching English. I'm accustomed to saying hello on my show, right? I admit, right? I advise, I appreciate. I appreciate being with you, right? I consider streaming this show, I consider being on this show an honor. I consider streaming. I consider being. Okay? So these ones have to be followed by a gerund. Not an infinitive. Doesn't work. And again, it's not the full list. It's a partial list. Now let's look at verbs that can go either way. They can have gerunds or infinitives. But there's two types. The first type is verbs followed by gerunds and infinitives, and the meaning will be the same. She began to swim. She began swimming. Same meaning. Okay? Like. I like to swim. I like swimming. I love streaming. I love to stream. Same meaning. Okay? Same meaning. Now you'll notice too this list is short. It's pretty short. So you could just memorize this. And again, contact me on email and I'll send you a document with these all these categories listed out for you. The next category to think about are verbs followed by gerunds and infinitives, your choice, but not really, because they have different meanings. So these ones, you can use both, same meaning. You can use either, same meaning. Okay, now this is a very special group. And there are basically 4, sometimes 5 verbs. So you could just memorize these. And that will make the choice a little easier. So for example, we have regret. Here's 2 examples with different meanings. I regret to tell you that I can't visit. This means I'm telling you now about this and I'm sorry. I can't visit. Okay? But if I said, I regret telling you I can't visit, that means in the past I told you I couldn't visit, and I wish I hadn't said that. Right? Different meanings. And then we have both remember and forget. They work the same way. She remembered to visit her friend. So she was planning to visit her friend, but sometimes she forgets things, but she remembered, and so she visited her friend. She did not forget. But if we use it like this, she remembered visiting her friend, we're thinking about a memory in the past. In the past, she visited her friend, and she has memories of it. Okay, I remember visiting my friend. I remember streaming the first show 2 years ago. I remember that, right? And today I remembered to stream the show. I almost forgot, but it was earlier hour. We also have this one. She stopped to smoke. What does that mean? It means she stopped doing another activity. She interrupted another activity, like driving the car. Stopped the car. So she didn't stop the smoke action, she stopped the car. Why? To smoke. So here, to smoke is the reason she stopped something else. This meaning is different. She stopped her habit of smoking. So she never smoked again. Smoking is her habit. And the last one here is try. I tried to fix the car, but I failed. Or I tried fixing the car, and then I tried selling the car, and then I tried buying a new car, like trying various things. So you could just remember these verbs, right? This is a small list. And they have a special dual meaning. If you remember those ones and these ones, these 2 are the big list. Verbs that only take infinitives, verbs that only take gerunds. That's a larger list. I don't recommend trying to memorize those. What I recommend is having a document, a reference chart. And while you're writing at your desk or online or doing homework or speaking with someone, you have that reference to check. Okay? Okay. Now I'd like to take a moment to see if you have any questions. I'm going to clear the board and then we're going to address the next question that Buddy had. Okay? So does anyone have any questions about this? Oh, also I want to say hello to Tirath from Nepal. Hi Tirath, thank you for joining us. And we have Facebook user. Hi Facebook user. Who are you and what country are you in? Be great to know. Okay, I am going to clear the board. And please let me know if you have any questions. I'll pop the chat overlay on. And then we'll go to the next question. Infinitive verb means infinity. No time, no tense. I think also, guys, infinitives and gerunds cause people a lot of problems. And I think the reason is they confuse the gerund. They think the gerund is a verb. The gerund is not a verb. It is a noun. That's the way you need to remember it. And if it's a noun, it does noun things, not gerund things. Okay, do you have any questions about what we've said so far? No? So far so good? Well, then it's a success. Okay. Let me bring up the next example. So this is Bodhi's question. Oh. Hi, Wilson. Welcome to the show. Wilson from Ecuador. Great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us, Wilson from Ecuador. Okay, I want to talk now about Bodhi's question. And Bodhi said, which of these sentences... And this is the same down here. She's asking about, my job descriptions were research and develop new formulae, I think. That part we don't need. Or should we say, my job descriptions were researching and developing new formulae. I think she's a scientist. Okay, which one? Well, after what we've just described, if we break down the parts, we'll see the answer pretty clearly. So, and by the way, Bodhi described these as infinitive verbs. And she described these as verb ing. But I don't see a be verb. And if there's no be verb, we are not talking about progressive or continuous verb form. What we're talking about is gerunds, or are gerunds, okay? We have a subject. We have... Well, I guess this whole thing is the subject. And then here we have a verb, but it's a very special verb, right? It's the be verb. What do we have here? Is that an infinitive verb? No. It might be if we had to. The infinitive verb needs to, right? If we said, my job descriptions were to research and develop, then we could call it an infinitive verb, to research. But we don't have that. What we have is were, past tense of be verb. And then we have research. And then we have develop. Now there's a couple possibilities here. Because research can be a verb. I want to research. It can also be a noun, right? It can be a noun. In this case, it would be the object. Now, develop isn't like that. Develop is a verb. Development is the noun. So if that's not a noun, and it's not because we don't say development, okay? This says develop, so that's a verb. So now we have a problem. We don't have parallel structure. Research and develop. We have a noun and develop. So I have to assume that this is a verb. In which case that sentence is wrong. Okay? Because look, we have verb, verb, verb. That's a problem, and I'll show you why. These are the job descriptions, right? And we have a be verb. And a be verb is sort of like an equal sign in math. This is this, right? If I said something like, Paul is Canadian. That's like saying Paul equals Canadian. This is me, and me is this, right? That's what a be verb kind of does. It's a linking verb. But description is what form of word? Description is a noun. And just like here, Paul is a noun, Canadian is a noun. If you're going to use the be verb, the noun has to be on both sides. A noun has to be a noun. If you're saying Paul can't be a verb, right? We wouldn't say Paul is to fly. That's weird. Paul is a noun. Whatever he is must also be a noun. Description is a noun. Job description is a noun. So whatever it is or was or were has also to be a noun. Okay? So to make this sentence correct, we could say research and develop meant. That's possible because research can be a noun or a verb. Okay? But if it's develop, we can't say that. How about this? Yeah, this is fine. Why? Because these are not verb INGs. These are not verbs. These are gerund and gerund. Right? Sorry. And. So it's accurate to say my job descriptions were researching and developing. Why? Because job description is a noun and we have a be verb, which is like an equal sign. And if this is a noun, the other side of the be verb has to be a noun. Paul is a noun, so whatever he is has to be a noun. I can't be a verb. A noun cannot be a verb. Noun cannot be a verb. A noun can only be a noun. So description's a noun. It can only be research and development or researching and developing new formulae. Okay? So what we're seeing here is related to the idea that be is a special verb. It's not an action, right? It's a state. It's a linking verb. And we said earlier there are 4 groups of verbs that are followed by an infinitive, followed by a gerund, followed by either choice but with the same meaning or either choice with a different meaning. And you'll notice none of those 4 categories have the be verb. So let's go back and look at that. First category, verbs followed by infinitives. No be verb here, right? Next group, verbs followed by gerunds. We have be accustomed to. No be verb. Verbs followed by gerunds or infinitive, same meaning, no be verb. Verbs plus gerund or infinitive with a different meaning, no be verb. So, how does the be verb work? Be verb is a kind of fulcrum, like a seesaw. Remember seesaw when you were a kid? One person sits on this, one person sits on this, and this is the fulcrum, the hinge. A be verb is like that. So, what do? If we're using a be verb, whatever is here must be here, whatever word form. So we could have to fly is to be happy. Okay? Start with an infinitive, infinitive on the other side. Verb, verb, no problem. A dog is a pet. Noun, noun. That's what you need to remember about the be verb. It's a fulcrum. Whatever verb or noun you have here, you must have the same form on the other side for balance. Be verb is a linking verb. So you can have infinitives here, and you can have a noun here, which means, because gerunds are nouns, you can have a noun here. You can say, my job description is researching. Well, it could be research and development, right? Noun and noun, or it can be researching and developing using the gerund form. Both are fine. Why? Because they're nouns. Okay? My job description is, or was, or were. Oh yeah, this is plural, isn't it? My job descriptions are or were research and development, researching and developing. Now, which one's better? I would say this. I would say if you have a legitimate noun available, like in the dictionary, research is a noun or a verb, development is a noun, then you don't need the gerund. Okay? Use the gerund for when the idea does not have an actual noun to use. You can use the gerund here, but you don't need to because you have two noun forms available. Okay? So, I want to say hello also to Ryushu from Japan. It's 8:45 a.m. Great. Hopefully that's not too early. I changed the time so more people could watch the show. Hopefully that's not too early for you. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies Buddhi's question. Buddhi, I want you to remember this is not a verb anymore. Verb plus ing is a gerund, and a gerund is a noun in a sentence. And a noun can be the subject or the object. So let's kind of summarize what we've learned here. I'm going to push these down. And again, guys, anyone who wants one of these charts with verb lists, they are helpful. I don't recommend you memorizing them, although you can. The best way to use them is to have them as a reference when you're working on your English homework. Okay, so let's summarize what we've learned. The number one thing we should remember here is that gerunds are nouns. They are not verbs. Okay, that's a common misunderstanding. It's made of a verb, but it does not function as a verb. Very important to understand that. It's really the heart of the problem. So let's go back and review the graphic. Infinitive verb is made of to plus base form of the verb. It can function in a sentence as a subject, object, adjective, or adverb. And I'll show you some examples in a moment. But a gerund consists of a verb plus ing, no be verb, and it always functions in a sentence as a noun. Okay, it's made of a verb, consists of means to be made of, but it functions as a noun. Very important, guys. Okay? When is ing a verb? Only when it's used in continuous form. I am standing. You are watching the show. Here we have subject, be verb, plus verb ing. Right? Present, continuous, or progressive. Really, the only difference is textbooks, British or American. You can call it whatever you want. I kind of like progressive. Okay? Two parts. I am standing, you are watching. That's when it's a verb. That's the only time it's a verb. Right? It's the only time. If you take away the be verb, it's no longer a verb. Right? Watching is no longer a verb. If I use it as a gerund, watching the show is fun, I hope. Now you have watching is the subject, be verb, and we have an adjective, right? Or she enjoys jogging. Subject, verb, gerund, object. That's the thing she enjoys. That is not a verb. That is not a verb. It's a gerund. It's the subject of your sentence. Okay? That is absolutely essential to understand. The other thing is, in that first example, let's put it here, I want to study. That's your subject. That's your main verb. And this is your object. This is not an infinitive. Okay? That's not an infinitive. That's the main verb. The inflected verb, and it changes tense. It expresses tense, right? We could say wanted to study. That doesn't change. I will want. I have wanted. Right? The verb, the main verb of the sentence, its job is to express tense. The infinitive verb never changes. It has no relation to time, right? Remember that symbol. Infinity. This is where the infinitive verb gets its name. Infinity. It's endless time. Infinity is endless time or endless number. Infinitive verb has no relationship to time, or in grammatical terms, tense, the main verb. So this is not an infinitive verb. This is. Okay? And ing, like here, is not a verb. It is a noun. It's functioning as a noun. Okay? Now, what I'd like to do to summarize is show you the various other sentence structures that are possible. Okay, and hopefully this will tie up any loose misunderstandings. So let's go to the first one. Oops. Where is it now? Oh, maybe I have not downloaded it. Bear with me one moment, guys. Please put any of your questions in the chat box, and I'll just get this document ready. Anyone have any questions? Please type your questions here. Okay, there's one of the documents. There's one more I need. Okay. Let's go here, guys. Let's talk about the be verb structures. These are the basic grammatical structures, sentence structures you can do with the be verb, right? You can have a subject, a be verb, and an adjective. For example, the car is green. You can also have the subject plus be verb plus noun or noun forms. This is what we've been talking about. Today is a holiday. Paul is a Canadian, right? Job description is research and development. That's this form here. Subject plus be verb, and subjects are nouns, so the other side of it should be a noun also, or a noun form. Noun form can be a gerund. It can also be a clause, a noun clause, a whole clause made of nouns. We can also do subject plus be plus prepositional phrase. For example, the car was on the road. We can put a time adverb. Subject, be plus time adverb. The class was yesterday. Subject be plus place adverb. The party was downtown. Downtown's not a noun, it's an adverb. Subject plus be plus participle. The car was racing. So here we have, okay, this is present continuous. Car was racing. I am standing. You are watching. That's this structure. We can also have past participle when we use a passive structure. She was removed from her job. So those are the ways to use the be verb. And you'll notice the only one that we've seen that applies to our examples is subject plus be plus noun or noun forms. My job descriptions were research and development, or my job descriptions were researching and developing, right here. What you'll notice is there's no subject plus be plus verb. On the other side of the be verb, there's no infinitive. Okay? None of these structures have infinitive verb on the other side, or another verb. Okay? It just doesn't work. Now, to summarize, I want to show you the various structures that we can do with the gerunds and infinitives. Okay, 3 basic infinitive sentence structures. Okay? Just 3 that we're allowed to do. Adjective plus infinitive. It is important to read books. She was happy to help her friend. Noun plus infinitive. Do you need me to help you? She asked her teacher is the noun, to help her. Verb plus infinitive. This is the one we started with. I want to study. And that's main verb or inflected verb, right? This can be tensed. He wants to study German. He wanted to study German. He has wanted to study German. Doesn't matter. The main verb can have any tense. The infinitive continues. We hope to visit Venezuela. Okay? 3 basic structures for infinitive verbs. That's it. 3 basic structures for gerunds. Gerund can be the subject. Reading books is important. Helping friends makes her happy. Preposition plus gerund. I thought about is a preposition. I thought about visiting Jakarta. Are you planning on going? On is the preposition. Going is the gerund. It's not a verb. Here, we're not using it as a verb. This is clearly a gerund noun. Are you planning on going? Okay. Verb plus gerund. He considered studying German. Now you'll notice too, considered and discussed are not followed by prepositions. That's because they're both transitive verbs and they need something on the other side. You have to consider something. That something is a direct object. Okay, you have to consider something. Not consider on something, consider with something. No, you have to consider the thing directly after the verb. So we can put a gerund there as the object. He considered studying German. We discussed visiting Venezuela, or even we discussed Venezuela. We discussed English grammar. A lot of students make the mistake of putting a preposition after discuss. We discussed about. No. You discuss a topic. You discuss something. You don't discuss about. You talk about, but you discuss something. Those are the 3 structures you can use a gerund. Subject, right? This is basically using it as an object. Verb plus gerund as object. Or preposition plus gerund. That's it. Why? Because you can do the same structures with nouns, and gerunds are nouns. Okay? Let's see if anyone has questions. Hi, Profe Paul Duke. Hello, whoever you are. Thank you for joining us. Ryushu, yeah. We also have someone else here. Difference between present participle and past participle. Okay. Let me just clear the board. We've been touching on that here. The present participle is when you have present progressive. That's the present participle. You could also just call it the participle because you can make that expression in past tense if you change the be verb, right? I was standing. But you'll notice that doesn't change. The be verb changes the tense. So this is always kind of present. But I also like calling it just the participle. Okay? Past participle is different. I was given a test. Or she was, I don't know, she was removed from the class. Okay? This is the past participle, and often it has ed, right? Sometimes if you have present perfect, eaten, that's an irregular past participle. That's these are regular, right? Just follow the ed. That's the past participle, right? And with a passive structure, the be verb changes tense, but this is always in the past form. So that's the past participle, right? Used with passives. But also we can use them as adjectives like he is a married man. So there's the past participle, but it's acting as an adjective in this case, not a passive. It's describing the man, right? That's the past participle. So hopefully that clarifies that. Anyone else have a question, guys? Again, thank you very much to Eni and Budi for your question this evening. Great question you sent in. Let me just catch up on a few things here. If you're not watching on YouTube, please check out the YouTube channel and please subscribe. YouTube channel is called The Grammar Detective. Just go to @Grammar Detective and you'll find it. Okay, please join the YouTube channel. Actually, I think it's probably the best image quality when you're watching the live stream. Okay, so that's the YouTube channel. Please join me on the YouTube channel. I stream everything there. You'll also find other products there, like my web series, English Weirdness. English Weirdness is a long-form web series with little stories and animations in it that I make with my students. English Weirdness. So check out the YouTube channel for that. What else can I tell you? Yes, if you want to send me a video clip asking an English mystery question, email it to me here. What can I tell you? Less than 30 seconds is best, but under a minute for sure. Send me your question in a video and I'll build the show around it, right? It'll be our English mystery of the week. If you're feeling generous, you can always support the show with a small donation, $5, $10, whatever's comfortable. Because although you watch this show for free, it costs me money to produce this show every week and pay for all the technology we use. So I do appreciate donations, and I guarantee all that money doesn't go to my Ferrari budget. It goes to the production costs of our show. That way I can keep bringing the show to you and I don't have to charge admission. You can find me on all the social media platforms at Hardboiled English, at The Grammar Detective, hashtag The Grammar Detective. And if you're interested in getting taking some of my course, I also have begun building an online writing course. So if you need help with writing, go to www.writingworkshop.thinkific.com and sign up for the writing workshop. There you go. And again, if you want to send me a video, please send it to my email address here, hardboiledenglish6@gmail.com. Thank you, Chris. That's very lovely of you to say. Yeah, I think people don't really understand the difference between verb ing as a verb and verb ing as a gerund. A gerund is not a verb, it's a noun. If you remember nothing from tonight, guys, remember that. Gerund is a noun. It's only a verb when it's working with the be verb as a continuous form. Outside of that, it's not a verb. And by the way, guys, if you struggle with that, it's totally normal. It's a very common problem. It's a very common grammar issue that comes up all the time. In fact, in the 2 years I've been streaming this live show, it has been a topic many, many times when people have asked for this, for help understanding gerunds and infinitives. So I'm glad it was helpful. Okay, what else? If you're in the Vancouver area, which I know most of you are not, but if you ever come to Vancouver and you want to participate in a great English workshop, my friend and colleague, Andrea, is now hosting a live English language workshop. Now, this is not a class. It's not even a school. It's a very fantastic live interactive workshop where you get a chance to practice your English. You get a chance to use it. And most uniquely, Andrea is an English instructor, but she also has a background in theater and drama and acting. And she's found a way to incorporate techniques that actors use, movie stars or stage actors, the techniques they use to prepare for their acting. And acting is speaking, using their voice. So in this workshop, you'll learn breathing techniques, ways of developing pronunciation with your breathing and your pronunciation of the English language, and lots of opportunity to interact. So again, if you're in Vancouver, come and check out Studio Joe English Language Workshop. Okay. Oops. Sorry, guys. What else can I show you? I guess that's it. I guess we now understand infinitive verbs and gerunds, so I guess that means case closed on our grammar mystery of the evening. Thanks again to Eni and Budi for sending us this week's English mystery. Okay, thanks a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess that means it's time for us to say goodbye. I hate to do it because I love being with you here live on this show, Hard Boiled English Live. It is always an honor for me to be with you here. It's something I look forward to every week. I don't know what to tell you. It's just fantastic to be able to connect with people around the world, hear their questions about English grammar, and more importantly, help you guys understand English grammar better. Hopefully I've done that. Oh, I have a last minute question here. It's an excellent question. I don't think we have time for it. From Lata, or Leta, I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing your name. How to explain the difference in pronunciation of ending in past tense. Stopped, visited. Great question. I can address it next week when we have more time. But Lata, why don't you send me your question in a video? Right down here. Email me a question. Just take a quick video with your phone asking me that question. And I'll build a show around it, okay? Thank you. No, thank you for watching. Thank you and much love to Vietnam. Hope everything's going great there. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Our time is up. I hope you've learned something about gerunds and infinitives today. Let's thank Eni and Budi for their question. Remember, if you'd like to submit a video, please email it and we'll get back to you, build a show around it, and see where we can go with our English grammar mysteries. See if we can solve another case. We'll be back next week, Friday at the same time, guys, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, I want you to take care, keep learning, and stay cool. Thanks for watching tonight's show. If you have an English grammar question, an English mystery, contact me on social media and send me a video of you asking the question. I'll investigate it on a future show. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to get all the updates about videos and events. If you're feeling generous, you can also donate to the production costs of the show at Patreon or buy me a coffee. Finally, until the next time I see you on Hardboiled English Live, I want you to keep learning English. Stay healthy and stay cool.